We are here in Polo Grounds where the latest trend of the voting, of the counting of the recently concluded elections is taking place as we speak. And the latest numbers are in for the counting that is happening in Polo Grounds for the recently concluded elections. And as of 10 a.m., the constituency-wise trend is from Amlarem, Lakman Rumboy from the United Democratic Party is leading by 357 votes, and trailing him is the National People's Party's Stephenson Mukhim, who is trailing by 357 votes. Next we have from Bakmara, Kartush R. Marak, who is an independent candidate, and he's leading by 187 votes. And trailing him is Nathwal R. Marak, who is also an independent candidate. Next we have Bajang Doba, where the National People's Party, Pongseng Marak, is leading by 794 votes, whereas trailing him is AITC Tengrak R. Marak, who's trailing by 794 votes. Next we have Chokpot, Mr. Nukman C.H. Marak from the Garo National Council is leading by a whopping 1262 votes, and trailing him is National People's Party's Sengchim N. Marak. Next we have Dadangre, we have the All India Trinamool Congress's Rupa M. Marak, who is leading by 969 votes, and trailing him is James Konkal Sangma from the National People's Party. Next we have Jirang, where the Indian National Congress Adrian Lambert Millim is trailing the leader, that is Sostana Sotun from the National People's Party, who is leading by 1015 votes. Now let's shift our focus to another constituency in Jaintia Hills. We have Wailad Miki Shila from the National People's Party, who is leading by a whopping 2,307 votes, and trailing him is R.Y. Andrew Shulai of the All India National Trinamool Congress. Next we have Kharkota, where the AITC is leading. The candidate Cherak Water Moman is leading by 617 votes, and trailing him is National People's Party Rupert Moman. Next we have Cleriat, which also falls in Jaintia Hills. Mr. Kirman Shila from the United Democratic Party again is leading by a whopping 3,432 votes, and trailing him is National People Party's Nelang Lingdo. Now looking at Mairang, we have Mairang, where the Indian National Congress's Batskem Rintathyang is leading by 302 votes, and trailing him is United Democratic Party's President Bedbat Lingdo, who's trailing by 302 votes. Next we have Mauhati, where National People Party's Shampang Lingdo is leading by 99 votes, and following him is Bayahunlang Makudo of the United Democratic Party. And let's look at Maukandro now, where the Sports Minister, the Cabinet Minister, previous Cabinet Minister Bante Lingdo is leading by 1,207 votes. He is from the People's Democratic Front, and trailing him is Remington Pungrop of the United Democratic Party. Let's also look at Maukarwat. Yes, the Maukarwat number is in, and Renington Lingdo Tongkha, the incumbent MLA from the United Democratic Party, now is leading by just a margin of 1 vote. Yes, viewers, a margin of 1 vote, and trailing him is the Indian National Congress's Karnas Shosang. Now let's look at Maulai, where the Bright Starwell Marbanyang of the Voice of People's Party, the new party that has entered this political arena, is leading by a whopping 4,203 votes, and trailing him is the National People Party's Tebor Lang Pathao, who's trailing by 4,203 votes. Now looking at Mauplang, we have the Voice of People's Party, Doristar Marbanyang, who's leading by 132 votes, and trailing him is Danisan Kurba of the Indian National Congress. Next, we're looking at Moranganeng, where the Voice of People's Party, having Stone Kharparan, is leading by 109 votes, and trailing him is Osapi Smithson Jirwa of the United Democratic Party. Now, looking at Motion Road, where Methodius Dakhar of the Hill State People's Democratic Party is leading by a whopping, a huge number of 5,524 votes, and Jigur Martang of the National People's Party is trailing just behind him. Now, looking at Mausan Ram, uh, Himalaya Muktan Shangteng of the Bharatiya Janata Party is leading by 179 votes, whereas trailing him is Alvin Kiriam Saukme of the National People's Party. Now, looking at Maukat Rashain, Hill State People's Democratic Party is leading by 581 votes. We have Shakliar Warjari of the HSPDP who's leading by 581 votes, and trailing him is Rolling Sage of the United Democratic Party. Now let's look at Mendi Pathar, where Martin J. Sangma of the National People's Party is leading by 2,776 votes, and trailing him is Indian National Congress's Tim Jim K. Moman. Looking at Maupayao, the incumbent MLA Nujorki Sumo is from the United Democratic Party is leading by 1,230 votes, and Habahun Dakhar of the National People's Party is trailing just behind him. Looking at mill name is Ivan Dublin F. Lingdo of the Voice of People's Party is leading by 232 votes, and Hamilton Dowling of the National People's Party is trailing behind him. Now looking at Nartyang, Snyoba Langthar of the National People's Party is leading by 184 votes, and trailing just behind him is Indian National Congress's Mlang Lalu. Magdalene Sokme Maulong of the National People's Party from Nongpo is leading by 225 votes, whereas Meryl Bonsi Aim of the United Democratic Party is trailing just behind her. Shifting focus to Nongstoy, we have Gabriel Wallang of the Indian National Congress, who is leading by 880 votes, and behind him is Macmillan Barsat of National People's Party. Now looking at Nongthamai, we have Charles Pongrop of All India Trinamool Congress, who is leading by 397 votes, and behind him is United Democratic Party's Jamino Mautho. Now looking at North Shillong, we have Maria Hom Kharkarang of the Bharatiya Janata Party, who is leading by 2,309 votes, and trailing just behind him is Dr. Amanwar of the United Democratic Party. Looking at Panursula, we have Preston Tunsong of the National People's Party, who is leading by 1,916 votes, that is 1916 votes, and behind him is Nehru Suting of the Indian National Congress. Now let's shift our focus to Garo Hills, where we have Raksam Gray, where Limisan D. Sangma of the National People's Party is leading by 1,902 votes, whereas Benedict R. Marak of the Bharatiya Janata Party is trailing just behind him. Looking at Ralyang, where Lakhon Biam of the Bharatiya Janata Party is leading by 1,549 votes, and Komingbon Yambon of the National People's Party is trailing just behind him. Now looking at Rambrai Jangam, we have Remington Gabel Moman, who is an independent candidate who's leading by 2,509 votes, and we have the National People's Party's Kimfa Sydney Marbanyang, who's trailing him. Let's look at Ranikor, where we can see that Pius Marwin of the United Democratic Party is leading by 1,996 votes, and trailing him is Martin M. Dango of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now looking at Resu Belpara, we see that Timothy D. Shira of the National People's Party is leading by 2,116 votes, and Rinaldo K. Sangma of the All India Trinamool Congress trailing just behind him. Looking at Rongara Siju, where we have Rakam A. Sangma of the National People's Party, who's leading by 1,343 votes, and trailing just behind him is Dr. Rajesh M. Marak of the All India Trinamool Congress. Now from Rongjeng, we have Jim M. Sangma of the National People's Party, who's leading by 102 votes, and trailing behind him is Walsing M. Sangma, who is an independent candidate. Also from Shela, we have Balajit Kupar Sindrem of the United Democratic Party, who's leading by 173 votes, and just behind him is Grace Mary Kharpuri of the National People's Party. Looking at Sora, we can see that Titos Starwell Khan of the United Democratic Party is leading by 154 votes, whereas just trailing behind him is Gavin Miguel Malem of the People's Democratic Front. Now finally we're looking at the last trends of the few of the constituencies that the trend is. Now looking at the other constituencies, we look at Songsak, where Dr. Mukul Sangma is leading from the All India Trinamool Congress, is leading by 457 votes, and trailing just behind him is Nihim D. Shira of the National People's Party. From South Shillong constituency, the incumbent MLA is leading by 2,164 votes. Mr. Sanbor Shulai from the Bharatiya Janata Party is leading, and trailing behind him is Danny Langsti of the Voice of People's Party. Looking at South Tura, we can see that Chief Minister, the former Chief Minister Conrad Kongkal Sangma from the National People's Party leading by 44 votes, and just behind him is Bernard N. Marak of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Now from Sutna Saipong, we have Santa Mary Shilla from the National People's Party, who's leading by 1,257 votes, and trailing just behind him is the Indian National Congress's the MPCC President Vincent H. Pala. Now looking at Tikrikila, we see that Jimmy D. Sangma of the National People's Party is leading by 1,116 votes, and behind him is Rahinath Barchung of the Bharatiya Janata Party. From Umroi, we can see that Daman Bait Lamare of the National People's Party is leading by 137 votes, whereas the All India Trinamool Congress's George V. Lingdo is trailing just behind him. From Umsing, we can see that Dr. Celestine Lingdo of the Indian National Congress is leading by 362 votes, and Sunshine Makri of the United Democratic Party is trailing behind him. From West Shillong, we can see that the UDP's Paul Lingdo is leading by 2,511 votes, whereas behind him, trailing just behind him, is Mohindro Rapsang of the National People's Party. And finally, from William Nagar, we see that Marcos N. Marak of the National People's Party is leading by 448 votes, whereas Deborah C. Marak of the Indian National Congress is trailing behind him.